I wanted to tell just a quick story, share a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a story, a mythology, a Vedic text from the roots of yoga. And it's a book about yoga, but interestingly, the story is that there's the eve of a great war. You could think about like a world war, like a big war. And Arjuna is the main one of the main characters, and he is a warrior. He's from a warrior class. He's been trained his whole life to be a warrior. And then right on the edge of this big epic war, he has doubts. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to go to war. And so he's very much fearful and resistant of the whole idea. And then in that moment, God comes down, Krishna, in the form of Krishna, as a form of a charioteer, and says, and then they start talking about yoga. Like time sort of stands still and they just have this long talk about yoga. And then the question is, why are they talking about yoga right in this war? And what does that have to do with anything? And then, the more that I've been with it, it's like it's a perfect time because, our lives can sometimes feel like a battleground, right? And, the struggles, the challenges, it's the perfect time for yoga to implement this skill. And really what he's talking about in this thing is he's basically telling Arjuna, like, this is your dharma. Like, you were born to do this. You've been called to this moment. And we're often called to moments in our lives. And quite often we don't want to step into those moments, right? Whether it's like we're being invited to or called to do something and we don't want to, right? Because it's so much safer here in our comfort zone, or we're scared of taking the risk and what all that might mean. If I go do that, then I'm going to have all of these consequences. And I'm going to say that's a very natural thing. And when we step to the edge and we take that jump that we're being called to, that's when the magic really happens. I know that when I've taken risks in my life, that's when the biggest, most beautiful things have blossomed. And that starts like with our marriage, like it's a risk, right? Because you kind of know somebody, but you don't really know them until, you know, maybe ever, but certainly not like the day you get married. You probably don't know them half of what you're going to know them. And so that's a risk. And yet here we are, and, to start a yoga, feeling called to start a yoga studio. We didn't know, and it was scary, right? Or to go, I don't know, whatever it is that you feel called to do. And this practice is an opportunity to play with that, stepping up to the edge. Life is often calling us to the edge of our comfort zone and to take a risk. And just like Arjuna, in a way, like there's something on the other side of that that's like destiny. There's a reason why we're being called. And so in this practice, this yoga practice, you might feel that like fear can come up, or like, oh, I don't know. And that's actually great to like step in. This is a kind of a self-contained little place where you can take risks, calculated risks, and just know that like part of the practice is really tuning into where am I being called and what courage am I being invited to muster up so that I can step into full catastrophe, full beauty living, that challenge that I'm being called up to.
Preach.
So that's what today, as like you will be pushed to your edge. That's the intent of the practice. And just feel for what arises when that happens. And notice that tendency to like, I want to back off or curl up. I'm not saying don't be safe. I'm saying allow yourself to be at the edge of uncomfortable and maybe even a little bit past that. All right, child's pose. Toes together, knees out wide. Sink your hips back and get your Ujjayi breath going. And you can wiggle your hips side to side. the first thing in knowing what you're being called to is listening. And one of the best ways to listen in is to breathe deeply. Exhale everything out. Spread the bones of your hands as if you can drink breath in through your fingertips. Feel it move through your shoulders, through your ribs, and to your hips. Exhale, purge everything out. Inhale, expand your ribs to the sides, to the top, to the earth. Exhale, press down into your toenails and feel the earth beneath you. Downward facing dog. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and keep your long, slow Ujjayi breath going. That's a long, slow breath in through the nose, and a long, slow breath out through the nose. You can play with your dog. Some of you actually have a dog in there that's wanting to play. They recognize this position. They're like, oh yeah, I know that one. If it feels good, you could raise your right leg up behind you, with hopefully not kicking over a lamp or a guitar or someone, and then bend your knees, stack your hips. Breathe along your right side body, feel it open up. And inhale, straighten that leg back out. Exhale, lower it down. Left side. Inhale, left leg to the sky, only if you want to. Exhale, bend your knees and stack your hips. And then open your left side body. Ujjayi breath. Jackson, let your neck relax. Yeah. Here we go. And then inhale, straighten your leg back up to the sky. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, come into high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog, go back. Warming up your shoulders, your core. Inhale, high plank. So heart forward, hands over, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. One more time. Inhale, high plank. Widen your collarbone, shoulders over wrists. Spread your hand bones. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Exhale, walk yourself to the front of your mat, keeping your hips high. When you get forward, inhale and come up halfway. You can have your hands on your shins or your thighs to scoop your heart. Exhale, bow forward, brains to your toes, ragdoll. Separate your feet at least hip width apart and maybe even go wider than you're used to. When you have your legs really wide, that creates a stable base. So one of the first ways to create stability is widen the foundation. Exhale and press down through the four corners of your feet. Inhale, draw the pit of your belly up to the sky, zip it up. Exhale, let your upper body wash over your thighs. Bend your knees so your ribs touch your thighs. You can take opposite elbows. You can let your arms dangle. Bend your knees even more, Jackson, so that your ribs rest on your thighs. And maybe separate your feet a little wider. Yeah, why not? And then exhale everything out, forward fold. Let your arms go. And rise up. Inhale, roll up one vertebra at a time until, with your last sip of air, reach your fingertips through the ceiling, maybe even look up. Reach your tailbone to the earth, belly in. Exhale, hands to your heart, Tadasana. Step your feet together, or you can leave them wide. Soft bow your head. May we use this practice to play at our edge. One Om together. Exhale everything out. Big breath in for Om. Breath in. Rinse everything out. Let's party. Sun salutation A. Inhale, reach up. Low belly back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flatten out your spine. Exhale, high plank. And then place your knees down. We'll do modified chaturanga. Slowly lower all the way down, pulling your shoulders to the ceiling. Low cobra, slide your hands forward, point your toes. Inhale, slide your ribs forward and up. Exhale, down dog. Come down and then belly in first, head goes back last. Downward facing dog. You can bend your knees right and left. Find your ujjayi. If it feels good, you could look to the back of your mats. You could look up into your belly. Draw the pit of your belly to the ceiling. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Bend your knees low. Exhale, walk or lightly hop your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Lift your toes, lift your belly. Exhale, bow forward. Rise and shine. Reach up. Mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Spin your inner thighs back. Chaturanga, high to low. You can have your knees up or down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Press your pinky toenails into the mat. Pull your heart through your arms. Down dog. Spread the bones of your hands down into the mat like you're flattening them out like pancakes. And then spread your thumb away from your palm and root down into the knuckle of the index finger and thumb. Inhale and lengthen your spine and tailbone up away from your shoulders. Exhale, reach from your tailbone down through your heels, find earth. Inhale, look to the front of your mat, bend your knees low. Exhale, walk, step, or float to the front. Halfway up, breathe in, widen your collarbones. Bow forward, breathe out. Come on up, inhale, reach up, root to rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, chaturanga, jump back or walk back. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Pull your heart through. Put little bends in your elbows so you can draw your shoulders onto your back, Sarah Green. Yes, down dog. Put little bends in your elbows to the right and left about a 1/4 inch. Just try this. And then bend your elbows down to the mat about a 1/4 inch. And then tweeze your inner elbows in like you're squeezing a beach ball. And feel how that lights up your arms, gets them engaged, and creates space in your upper back. Put tiny bends in your knees and draw your thighs back. Inhale, look to the front of your mat, bend your knees low. Exhale, walk, step, or float to the front of your mat. When you get forward, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, reach up, go high. Exhale, land your hands at your heart center, Tadasana. Sun Salutation B, chair pose. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Long, flat spine, breathe in. Chaturanga, breathe out. Press all the breath out. And as you lower down, press the earth away from you. Inhale, low cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Warrior one, right side. Like Arjuna, a warrior. Step your right foot between your hands. Inhale, rise up with one breath. Go up. Chaturanga, high to low plank. Plant your hands, step your foot back. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Draw your inner ankles to the midline. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot between your hands. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat. High to low, you flow. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. You get down dog. Breathe in. Rinse out. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Bend your knees low, low, low. Spring or walk forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Bow forward, breathe out. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Lean into your heels, lift your heart, lift your arms. Exhale, bow forward, straighten your legs. Halfway lift, breathe in. Chaturanga, go back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, right side. Plant your right foot. Inhale and rise high. Root through the back of your back foot. Exhale, hands to the mat, chaturanga, you go. Inhale, up dog. Point your big toes and lift your heart away from your big toes. Down dog. Left side, warrior one. Plant your left foot. Inhale, rise like a warrior. Exhale, chaturanga, high to low. You can always have your knees down, up dog or cobra. Bend your elbows and pull your heart through wide collarbones. Down dog. Long, slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. Lift your toes a little. Inhale, look about 12 inches in front of your hands. Bend your knees low. Walk, step, or float like a butterfly to your hands. Halfway lift. Spin your thighs back as your heart shines forward. Exhale, bow. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, the low push-up. Elbows go straight back in chaturanga, not out and not in. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Warrior one, right side. Ready, fire, aim. You go up. Chaturanga, you flow high to low. Upward facing dog. Spin your inner thighs to the ceiling. Downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Plant both feet. Inhale and rise up high. Chaturanga, flow high to low. You go. Inhale, up dog. Lift the crown of your head through the ceiling. Down dog. Ujjayi breath. It makes a sound. Feel how that sound can calm you, can center you. The sound of your own breath. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Bend your knees low. Exhale, walk, step, or float. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long flat spine. Chaturanga, go back. Listen for the changes. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your right leg up behind you, up to the sky. Exhale, bring your right knee to your right upper arm and stay there. Stay. Take a big inhale, stay. Take an exhale, stay. Pull your belly in. Inhale, go up and back with your right leg. Exhale, knee to your nose, shoulders over wrist, and you stay. Stay here. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, go up and back. Exhale, cross your whole body and stay. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, go up and back. Exhale, step your foot between your hands, crescent warrior. Come on up. Rise up with your back heel up. Twisting warrior. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a twist. Left elbow, right knee. You can always have your back knee down. That's a wonderful way to be in this and still feel grounded. Press down into both feet. You can turn your back heel up. Yep. And then squeeze your inner thighs in for more stability. Inhale and get long from your back heel through your heart, through your crown. Exhale, dial your heart open. Roll your right ribs back and maybe even lean your head back like you're opening up. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale back to crescent warrior. Come on up. Open up, warrior two. Extended side angle, right forearm to your right thigh, left arm straight up to the sky with a little bend in your top elbow. Exhale, press down into both feet. Use that strong, earthy feeling to inhale now and lengthen your body up, your ribs up and out. Exhale, pull belly in and reach your tailbone to your back heel. To dive right into the edge, bend your front knee a little more and make it feel like you're cooking. You can bring your right hand even to the ground if you wanted. Let yourself cook a little bit. And if it feels intense and you have no pain, but it's intense, perfect. You're right at the edge. Okay, I like it, Jessica. Why not? Okay, hands to the earth. Chaturanga, you go. And you flow and let all that go. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. Ooh, goody, you have another side. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Left knee to your left upper arm on the exhale and pause. Now take a full inhale and stay there. And a full exhale, stay there. Inhale, go up and back. Exhale, knee to your nose. Bring your shoulders over your wrist. Round your upper back. Stay there for the inhale. And stay there for the exhale. Inhale, go up and back. Exhale, go to the other side. Knee to the opposite elbow. Touch your elbow if you can. Take a breath in. Stay there. Take a breath out. Stay there. Now inhale, go up and back. Exhale, step your foot between your hands for crescent warrior. Make your feet about hip width apart. Inhale, rise up. Back heel is up. Twisting warrior, hands to your heart and twist. Right elbow crosses your body all the way to the outside of your left thigh if you can. Press down into your arms, into both arms, to lift your ribs up and out. I like to think of like you've got a tortoise shell on your back, and when you pull your heart forward, your shoulders slide down your back. It's the turtle coming out of the shell, no longer hiding, but expressing out, reaching for the sunshine. Crescent warrior. Inhale, come back to center, squeeze your legs, draw your belly in for support. Exhale, warrior two. Draw your shoulder blades to your back. Breathe in. Extended side angle. Left forearm at the center of your thigh. Use that forearm and press it down to get lift. Then if you want to take it a little deeper, if you want to play at your edge, you can take a half bind or a full bind. You can bring your left hand to the earth. A lot of you, if you just bent your knee about 20 degrees more, it might get more exciting. So you're at 90 degrees. And 90 and 105 degrees feel radically different in your body. Exhale and press through the outside of your back foot. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, reach your sitting bones to your back heel. And release all that joy to chaturanga, high to low. You flow. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. Breathe in. Open your mouth and rinse something out. Come down for a second. We did this yesterday. Albina's going to show you the donkey kicks, or what we also call frog hops. The idea is control. Just going to your shoulders right over wrists, walk your feet in close, and just watch for a second. You're going to bring your knees to your chest and your heels to your butt as you hop. And maybe you might hang time just for a second. This is where you get to play at your edge. Is it a little scary? Yes. And is it a little exhilarating? Yes. You can lift just one leg up, show them the modified version, and then you do that. Yeah, and that's a way you can feel it. Okay, pick your version. Walk your feet a little bit toward your hands, get your shoulders over your wrists, and when you're ready, hop. Knees come right into your chest. You're making yourself tiny and upside down, and maybe one leg or both legs come up. If you want to make donkey sounds, go ahead. Do between 5 and 100, but at least 5. Yeah. If it's a little scary and you're like, oh my God, I might fall over, you're doing it right. Okay, after your 5th one, then find your way to the front of your mat. Bend your knees, inhale, chair pose. Twisting chair, bring your hands to your heart, left elbow to your right knee. Take a twist. If that's too intense of a twist, you can separate your feet wide and have your hands on your thighs and twist that way. Or you could have a hand with your feet wide, you could have a hand on the ground. Instead of going all the way across, you could be on the outside. Lengthen your tailbone down and put more weight in your heels, about 20% more weight in your heels. Lift your heart up. Autumn, draw your bottom shoulder away from your ear more as you scoop your heart. Yes, you get longer in your spine like that. You want to open your arms, you could. Inhale back to center, that's chair. Squeeze your inner legs, draw your belly in for support, and then go the other way. Hands to your heart and twist. Check out your right knee and feel if your right knee and right hip went forward, and to even them out, to find balance, draw your right knee and right hip back in line with your left knee and left hip. And then do the dip. Yeah, put my hand upon your hip. Now sink low, lift your heart high. And then open up into an expression. Find an edge. Where is it a little bit scary? Where's that I don't know moment that feels like full self expression? And release. Fingers to big toe pose. Separate your feet about hip width apart, maybe a little wider for some of you. And then wrap up your big toes with your first two fingers. Inhale, get long. Exhale, bow forward. You can bend your knees a lot. You can wiggle it from side to side. Some of you are already doing that. It's an opportunity to get some of the wiggles out. Inhale, lift your arches and lift the pit of your belly to the ceiling. Exhale, let your upper body wash down like a waterfall as you pull with your arms. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Release all that joy. Padahastasana, standing on your hands from the front. Yeah, it's the other handstand. Pada means hand. Hasta. Padahastasana is feet. Oh, sorry. Pada is feet. Hasta is hand. And so you're literally feet on your hands. And then pull up with your hands. Jessica, slide your shoulders away from your ears and make a lot of space. Yes. Good. Nancy, relax your neck. Jackson, relax your neck. Look back toward the wall behind you. Yeah, so you don't have tension in your neck, and only the tension that you need in your low belly and maybe your thighs spinning back. Release. Crow pose. Toes together, knees out wide. This crow might be your I don't know moment, or that place where there's fear. And I invite you to be with the fear, acknowledge the fear, and maybe try it anyway on some level. So cross your shins and then lift your belly up, round your spine. That looks good, Cherie. Heels to the butt even more. And then maybe one set of toes comes up. Maybe you start to straighten your arms. Okay, vinyasa. You could shoot back and go there. Nice, Luis. I saw some shooting back. Jessica, inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Even if I don't call your name out, it was still a great job. I have to tell my kids that, right? It's like, just because I'm praising one of you doesn't mean that the other one isn't also amazing. But they sometimes hear it that way. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees low. Exhale, walk, step, or float. Halfway lift. There's enough praise to go around. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Tadasana. Straighten your legs, bring your hands to your heart. Take a breath in and a breath out. This is a perfect time to play at your edges in balancing poses. If you've never fallen out of a yoga pose, consider that you're playing it safe. Eagle pose. Inhale, reach your arms up. Like in a mirror. Exhale, right arm under left, right leg over left. And braid everything up. Sit low. Feel for earth. Press down into the four corners of your foot. I do this thing where I energetically imagine sliding my heel, standing heel forward, and that kind of helps stack the bones. Inhale and spread across your upper back. Exhale, pull your elbows down as you lift your heart up. Nice, Albina. Unwind. Inhale, unwind everything, go up. Other side, left arm under your right, left leg over your right. And then sit down into your eagle's nest. Garuda Asana. Garuda was an eagle who shined so bright and was so brilliant that they kind of asked him to dim down. That's the hugging in kind of part. And yet, even when you hug in, The brightness is still there. You have the capacity to kind of turn it on when you're ready. Inhale, unwind all of that, go up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Dancer's pose. Shift your weight into your left leg, pick up your right foot from the inside. Draw your knees in, pull everything in and up to the midline. Inhale, reach up through your right arm or left arm. Exhale and go. Press back. Feel for the upper back bend. So Nancy, you kind of got your foot from the outside. Try it from the inside. Yeah. And feel if that gives you more access to shoulder rotation, opening your heart. And if you're having an advanced day, roll your outer right hip to the earth and maybe even forward bend a little more and get into full self-expression. Lift your toes a little higher, your heart a little higher, and release. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. Catch your foot from the inside. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, press. Feel for the crown of your head lifting through the ceiling. You get this upper back bend. Spread your toes even though you can't see them. And then maybe you bring your arm parallel to the earth as you lift your foot up, torso lowering, heart lifting. And release. Okay, this is not in the playbook, but we're going to go off script just a little. Left foot down, right foot up, standing leg raise. You can hold on to your shin or your big toe. If you get your big toe, you could start to straighten your leg out in front of you. And then like Arjuna, like a warrior, drawing your right shoulder back. Yes. There's a sort of a ball right at the top of your femur bone. Let that sink down into the hip socket, even as your thigh lifts up. And if suddenly you wanted to hold your shin, that could be okay. Take a big breath in and send your right leg out to the right. And then you could play with looking over your left shoulder and get to that courageous moment where I'm going to look so far that I don't even know if I can still stay here. Get to that, I don't know, I'm not so sure moment. And then come back to center. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, bend your lifted knee, and then come into airplane. Swing your leg back, arms out by your sides. Raise your arms to the sky and your leg. Make your leg straight and strong. Come into half moon. Left arm to the earth or a block. Right hand to your hip or to the sky. Some of you are doing twisted half moon. So Samantha, same arm, same leg. Yeah, there you go. Press through your heel, flex your toes, and then open your top hip to the sky. Eventually, you're stacking everything up. Take a huge breath in. Standing splits. Lower your top arm and lift your lifted leg higher, folding toward your front shin. If you're having a particularly advanced day, you can press into your arms and start to straighten them and come up onto your tippy toes of the standing leg. And maybe as you lift your leg up, your toes come off the ground for a millisecond, like a handstand. Maybe. Okay, ragdoll, forward fold, let it go. Shake it all out. Dang, this is hard. Inhale, rise all the way up. Stretch up. Exhale, land your hands at your heart. Standing leg raise, other side. Right foot down. Pick your left foot up and catch your shin or your big toe or the side of your foot. And then maybe you straighten your leg. Your right hand can be on your hip. Draw your left shoulder back like you're drawing back a bow and widen out your collarbones. If it gets challenging, great. Stay in that I don't know kind of challenging moment. Instead of leaning forward or leaning back, imagine going straight up to the sky. Take a breath in. Exhale, send your left leg out to the left. And then suddenly you might decide, oh, I should be holding my knee, might feel better versus holding my big toe. And then maybe you start to send your drishti over your right shoulder and play right at your edge. Where would that edge be for you? If we stay here forever, everybody's going to fall out. So you don't have to make falling out meaning anything, right? It's just your turn. Then come back to center. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, bend your knee up toward your chest, and then take airplane. Swing through to airplane pose. That means your leg goes straight behind you. It's called Dekasana, and you're kicking through your lifted heel, flexing your toes, arms up toward the sky like an airplane. Autumn, roll your thumbs skyward. Instead of pointing your thumbs down, roll, yeah, like that. Yes. Okay, half moon. I see your legs shaking, Albina. And then bring your right arm down, left leg up, and reach your thigh bone up and out of the socket. Maybe you could even take your top hand and catch your top foot in your hand for a little back bend. Maybe not. Okay, standing splits. Both hands come to the ground. Lift your lifted leg to the sky even more. Is this challenging? You're welcome. Okay, slowly lower that down. Relax. Ragdoll. Why you do that to me? Exhale everything out. Inhale, reach all the way up. Go up high. Exhale, land your hands at your heart. Tree pose. Shift your weight into your left leg, pick up your right foot and plug it into your left leg, either at the ankle, the shin, or the thigh. And then bring your hands back to your heart. Press your palms and feel for center line in your hands and in your legs. Draw everything into the center line. And then from earth, press down to the four corners of your feet. You can start to branch out, lift up. You can start to look up and look back, tucking your tailbone toward your heel. You could turn this into a baby back bend. And release. Switch. Other side. Right foot down, left foot up, and then you're in it to win it right away. Notice the habitual way of practicing that feels secure, that feels like, okay, I'm solid, I will never fall over, I'll be safe. And then see that and then play it a little bit, take a risk, whatever that looks like. Maybe that means you open your arms. Maybe it means you close your eyes. Maybe it means you take a little baby back bend. Maybe you get to this place where like, haven't done it like this and I don't know what's going to happen. And release. Release all that joy. Lower your foot. Come to the front of your mat. And let's flow a little more. Hands at your heart. Tadasana. Exhale everything out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long flat spine. Chaturanga Dandasana, you go back, high to low. You can always modify or skip it. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Right foot between your hands for crescent warrior. Inhale and come on up. Open up, warrior two. Trikonasana, triangle. Straighten your front leg. Inhale, reach your fingertips way out toward the front and then tilt. Right hand down, left arm up. Exhale and reach down through the bottoms of your feet. And then draw both inner ankles energetically back as you root outer ankles down. Hug your outer shins in and put tiny bends in your knees. Inhale, telescope your ribs, expand, lengthen, open. Exhale, pull your belly in and reach your tailbone to your back heel even more. It's easier to do that if your knee's a little bent. Open up your heart right here. Maybe even lean your head back. You can relax your neck. Separate leg forward bend. Turn your toes over to the left side of your mat. Your feet are about 4 feet apart. Hands, you can clasp the outsides of your shins or your heels or your big toes. Firm up your thighs. Inhale and lift your toes, lift the pit of your belly. Exhale, let your upper body rinse down and pull with your arms. Use your strong arms to pull. Let your upper body, though, be soft. Pyramid pose. Walk your hands around to your front foot and step your back foot in about a foot, maybe a foot and a half, and a little to the left. Draw your right hip back energetically. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forehead to shin. Relax your neck. And you can sway from side to side. Twisting triangle. Left hand to the earth, a block, a water bottle, on your dog's head, I don't know. And then right hand can be at your hip crease to draw it back or your low back, or to the sky. Cinch your inner legs in toward the midline. And then inhale, unravel the front of your body, get longer. Exhale, dial your heart open. Feel that line of energy from the bottom arm up across your collarbones and up into your top hand. Release, chaturanga, high to low. You go. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. You have another side. Step your left foot between your hands. Inhale and rise. Crescent warrior. Open up, warrior two. Triangle. Straighten your front leg. Inhale, reach and tick-tock your hips back to your back heel and then tilt. And then you create this pose in full self-expression. What would that look like in your breath and in your openness and in your body? To really express it as your own offering, in your potential, in your capacity, in your possibility. What does possibility look like right now? What does courage look like in this pose, in this moment, in this breath right now? Separate leg forward bend. Turn your toes over to the right. If you want a different arm position, you could interlace your fingers at your low back and press palms if that happens for you. You can keep the same arm position. And then maybe if you press palms behind your back, they start to fall toward the earth overhead. Put tiny bends in your knees. Feel your thigh muscles lifting up toward your low belly and spinning back to the wall behind you. Spread your sitting bones wide. And then let your upper body drizzle down to the mat. Pyramid. Bring your hands back to your hips, then to the ground. Walk your hands and feet around toward the front. Set your front toes at about 10 and your back toes at about 2 to 30. Draw your left hip back as you lift your right hip up. Keep your belly engaged, low belly to the ceiling. Inhale, get long in your spine. Exhale, fold. And you can wiggle your hips side to side. Feel for opening up. When you wiggle your hips, it might seem silly, but sometimes that can break up little stuck fascia on the outer hips or in your hamstring. Plus, it just can feel good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Twisting triangle. One way that can help us get more access to the twist in twisting triangle, you could try it out, is lift your back heel. Even if you've never done that before. So your right hand goes down, left hand goes to your hip, And then maybe eventually your left arm goes up. But if you lift your back heel, you might find more twist. Now that could make you feel a little bit more wobbly, in which case you can wiggle your left foot a little further left. Inhale, pull your heart away from your hips. Exhale, dial open at your upper back. Maybe even lean your head back like you're going to fall back into a pillow. And release. Chaturanga, Vinyasa. You go high to low and you flow. Up dog or cobra. Luis, pull instead of push. Pull your heart through. So bend your elbows and pull. Yes. Down dog. Big Ujjayi breath in. Open your mouth, let it out. Ha. Inhale to high plank. Slowly lower all the way to the mat. Bring your left ear on the ground. Relax. Take this moment right here to really soften. To be a warrior doesn't mean that you have to be hard all the time. Warriors, skillful warriors, use their energy just where they need it in the most efficient way. And that means knowing when to rest. So that when the moment is called, you have all of your resources available. Chin on the mat, locust pose. Palms facing down and reaching back. Press your hip bones down, that's your launching pad. And then inhale, lift. Use your strong back muscles to lift your arms and then maybe lift your legs. If you have a tweaky low back, keep your feet on the ground. Roll your thumbs to the sky and tweeze your shoulder blades onto your spine and away from your ears. Inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, slowly lower all the way to the mat. Relax. Bow pose. Bend your knees, catch your feet. If that feels like it's not going to be good for your low back, then do the first one again. Bring your knees close together. Press your feet into your hands. Inhale, come on up. Imagine someday the top of your head and your toes are going to touch the ceiling. Press with your strong legs. And now breathe into the space right across the front of your heart. All the bones and viscera right at the center of your chest. Breathe right there. And slowly lower down your opposite ear on the mat. Relax. You can wiggle your hips side to side if that feels good. Upward facing yogis. Come on up. Downward facing dog. Bridge pose. Inhale, look between your hands. Walk or float to seated and lie down on your back. Set up for bridge. Bring your feet in close to your butt and about hip width apart. For some of you, hip width is wider than you think, and a wider base is not a bad thing. So make your feet a little wider. Press down into your feet. Inhale and lift your low back up, then the middle of your back up, then the back in front of your heart up. Exhale, curl your pubic bone a little bit toward your navel and reach long through your thighs. Inhale and balloon breath into the sides and the back of your heart and lift them up. Exhale, press down into your inner feet and your heels for more support to open your heart. To come down, curl your pubic bone toward your navel, bring your upper back down, then your mid back down, then your low back down. Bridge pose. We're reaching the top of the mountain here. These are the peak poses. Bridge pose. Sorry, wheel. Hands by your ears. Your wheel might look suspiciously like bridge. Fingers almost all the way to the edge of the mat. Elbows to the sky, and then inhale, come on up. Press through your inner feet and inner hands. Open the front line of your body, and eventually shoulders come over wrists. Draw your armpits back into the sockets. And release, chin to your chest, slowly roll down. Take a breath in. And rinse all the breath out. Wheel number 2. Come on up. Inhale, you rise up. Really engage your legs and then move some of that weight into your hands. Press down through your hands. Wrap your shoulder blades around your back and tweeze your elbows toward one another. And slowly lower down, chin to chest, then your upper back, low back, mid back, low back come down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Wheel number 3, come on up. They say 3 wheels a day keeps the doctor away. Come on up. Especially the one you don't want to do is the one that can be so transformative. Yeah, April, instead of walking your feet to your hands, walk your hands to your feet, and maybe you start to look toward your feet. Yes, and maybe you see your feet. Oh, and then chin to your chest, come on down. Breathe in. Rinse everything out. Supta Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees out wide, and just stay here for a breath or two. If that's tweaky on your low back, don't do Supta Baddha Konasana. Instead, you'll have your feet as wide as your mat, and you can let your knees tent in. That might feel better for people with tweaky low backs. Take this moment to feel the gifts of a wide open heart, physically wide open. It can feel a little scary, a little vulnerable to have your heart just wide open. And that's where you can make real connection. You can fall in love. You can learn to trust. Okay. Bring your knees to center. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Happy baby. Take a hold of the sides of your feet. And then widen your feet out to about shoulder width. Knees and heels in one line, straight down to your armpits. Spread your toes. Catch a hold of the sides of your feet or your big toes. And you can rock side to side, play like a baby. Keep lengthening your tailbone to the mat. There's a little thing I like to do where I roll kind of to one side and I draw that knee closer to the ground and I reach through that same side sacrum a little more. Low back, and that decompresses, and then I roll to the other side. You could try that and see if you like it. Just giving one side of my low back a little more attention for a second than the other. Release all that joy and set up for some core work. This core work is bicycle abs. Bring your knees over your hips. Flex your toes back toward your face. Press your low back down. Keep it glued. Inhale, curl your head and shoulders up. Exhale, left elbow to your right knee, and then straighten out the other leg and keep switching. Go. It's like riding a bicycle. You don't forget how to do it, right? You just keep on keeping on. And if you want it a little more intense, straighten your legs a little more, get them a little lower. If you want it to be less intense, bend your knees and don't lower them down so much. Keep twisting, keep your low belly pulled to your spine and look up toward the sky. Keep going. If you want it even more intense, you could do this with completely straight legs and keep going. Yes, this is you getting to an edge and dancing at it. Keep on keeping on. Yes. With every twist, you can internally or externally, you can say, yes, 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 I am willing to step to the edge, to do the hard things, to take the risks, to be in the play, the dance, to answer the call. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. You can stretch out long if that feels good. Maybe even stretch so much that your low back lifts just a little to stretch out your core. Boat pose. Navasana, bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. You can rock and roll along your spine, or you can just roll to one side until you come up into Navasana boat. That means you're sitting on your sitting bones rather than your tailbone, and draw your knees in toward your chest and your chest in toward your knees. Maybe you straighten your legs, maybe you release your arms. Imagine that there are two fingers running up either side of your spine. That would cause your heart to lift and your shoulder blades to come down. Do that, yes. Okay, release that. Cross your ankles, place your hands by your hips. You can use your feet or you can lift your feet to lift your butt up off the ground. Yes. And then come back into boat Navasana. You can bend your knees and then bring your mind the gap. Bring your thighs and your heart closer together. Lift up and spread your collarbones from behind your heart. Okay, release that joy. Cross your ankles the other way. You can round your spine, plant your hands, pull up from the roots of your spine, lift your butt, and then come back into boat Navasana. I say that the winds of grace are always blowing, and all you have to do is raise your sails like this in boat pose. Lift your heart. Yes. Breathe deeply. And right when you want to quit, stay for another breath. Okay, release all that joy. Now you can kind of lift yourself up and roll through to vinyasa, or you could skip all that and just walk back to down dog. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Pigeon right. Bring your right knee to your right upper arm and take pigeon. I like to scooch my left leg back long and then pull my torso forward. Maybe even find a little baby back bend to get length, and then bow forward so that it's spacious. If you don't feel anything in this, or you want a little more stretch, you could curl your back toes under and then walk your foot a little bit over, back foot a little bit over to the right, and then stretch your leg back out, wrap your outer left hip to the mat, inner back thigh to the sky. If you still are real stretchy and you don't feel anything in this pose, you can play with splits. But most of us will feel something here, some kind of stretch in your outer right hip. Breathe deep and slow down into your outer right hip and low back. Exhale, soften your jaw, your tongue, your throat. Anytime we're forward folding, and this is a forward fold, it's a great opportunity to listen in. The yoga teachers, the yoga teachings say that the highest authority is Sat Guru. Sat meaning inner, Guru, teacher. Sri Sat Guru is the highest teacher. And to learn from that teacher, we have to be willing to listen in. We have to be willing to pause and hear what we're being called to do, who we're being called to become. Downward facing dog. Pedal your knees. You can make some lifts with your right leg. You can make circles with your hip. You could make a sound like ah. Sometimes that feels good to me. Lower that leg and let's do the other side. Left knee, left upper arm, pigeon. Take your time to set it up. And then come back to a slow, intentional breath that's like fingertips massaging the places where it feels tense or sticky or dark. Use your breath like fingertips and like a flashlight to find those places. Massaging right into them with your breath. On the exhale, maybe softening any amount, breaking up the tension any amount. So there's a Sanskrit mantra, Shri Satguru Bhagavan Ki, which means the holder of the highest truth, the teacher of the highest truth is always right here. Shri Satguru Bhagavan Ki. And so these practices get us still and quiet so that we can hear that teacher. The truth is right here, in this very breath. Downward facing dog. And do what feels good to decompress from pigeon. Inhale, look forward. Walk or float to seated for seated forward fold. Legs out in front like the letter L. Flex your toes back toward your face. Inhale, get long in your spine. You can wiggle your hips back. Exhale, forward fold. You can hold wherever it feels okay. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. It's not about straight legs so much as it is about allowing your hamstrings to open. Rather than forcing them open, you sort of set the conditions and give it breath. And then organically, over time, your hamstrings will open. Draw the pinky toe edges of your feet back toward your face. Reach out through the big toe mounds. Inhale, imagine unfurling the front of your heart toward your toes. Draw your low belly in. Exhale, bow forward. Relax your neck, especially that spot right at the base of your skull. Breathe into the occiput, right where your head connects to your neck. Exhale and feel for letting go there and in your tongue and in your jaw. Walk your hands back, shoulder stand. So make space so that if you come into shoulder stand and eventually into plow, you won't plow into something. Viparita Karani is your modification. Albina's doing it. It's like a letter L. And then instead of looking around once your neck is kind of in a compromised position, you can watch first or just do it. Come into shoulder stand, or you can stay in Viparita Karani. Both are great. Reach up through your inner legs as if you could touch the ceiling with your big toe mounds, and then flex your toes toward your face just a little, just a little. And then imagine that you're like a candlestick. You could shoot your inner legs up toward the ceiling. Ease your shoulders away from your ears and maybe lift your chin just a little so that you bring the tension out of your neck. Breathe deep and slow. Traditionally, it's about 20 breaths in this pose, but 10 could also be good. When you are ready, if you become ready, you can come into plow. Toes come overhead, and if they touch the ground, then you could lower your arms, or you could keep your arms on your back for support. If your feet don't touch the ground, though, then keep your arms on your back for support. Lift up through your low belly and your inner legs to the ceiling. Feel for all the muscles up and down your spine, unraveling, decompressing. If you'd like, you can round your spine and draw your knees toward your arm or toward your ears. Maybe eventually they come on either side of your ears as you curl up into a little ball. And if they do, give your ears a little squeeze with your inner legs. Very lovingly, with absolute loving awareness, use your core, use your arms, and come all the way down. Spinal twist. Bring your knees in and place your feet flat on the ground. Pick up your hips 2 to 3 inches to the right. So you went left, and then bring your knees into your chest. You could wrap your right leg over your left or have your knees side by side. Take a twist. I like to pick up my left shoulder and slide it out to the left and away from my hip. Right arm could be by your ear. Exhale everything out. Inhale and inflate your right ribs with breath, front, back, and sides. Exhale, feel for surrendering your right ribs to the mat. One leg at a time, come back to center. You can hug your knees in the center, just kind of reset your sacrum. Then place your feet flat again. Pick up your left hip and move hips, or pick up your hips and move them a little bit to the left. And then you could wrap your left knee over your right, or just keep your knees side by side. Let them fall gently to the right. You could roll back and forth on the back of your skull, feeling for any remaining tension in your neck just melting away. Soak breath into your left ribs, the muscles between your ribs, your collarbone. Exhale, feel for softening your left ribs and your collarbone toward the earth. Unwind your legs. Come back to center. Hug your knees in. Give yourself a big loving squeeze. Shavasana. Sometimes it takes the most courage to be still. And ease your right shoulder away from your right ear, your left shoulder away from your left ear, your left heel away from your left hip, your right heel away from your right hip. And then take a breath in, fill up, and then let it all out like you're deflating all of the tension, all the air out of the tire. Let your Ujjayi breath soften. And let the earth rise up to hold you. And let the tension in your muscles relax. Let your whole body relax. Let your whole body relax. Relax your whole body. In these moments when we're quiet, when we're still, that's when we can really tune into where we're being called to go. That's when we can hear Sat Guru, the teacher within. We're all being called in various ways. And then the question is, will we answer that call? The Sat Guru is hoping that you'll say yes. A long, slow breath in. Open your mouth and let all the tension out. Start to wake up into this possibility of answering the call. Fingers and toes. We're in this process of waking up to who we're being called to become. You can bend your wrists and your ankles and your knees and your elbows. So when you're ready, stretch how it feels good. And then you can bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big loving hug. On this path, it will be challenging. And can we trust that we have the skill, the courage to rise, to meet who we're being asked to become? Very slowly roll toward the screen. When you're ready, sit up tall. Come on up. Bring your hands to your heart, soft bow of your head. Exhale everything out. Inhale, stretch up, reach for the sky. Exhale, land your hands at your heart. May this practice give us courage and give us skill so that we can go where we're called, so that we can be of service to ourselves and to others, so that we can live into where we're intended to be. Namaste.